Imagine being trapped in an engine room that's just filling with toxic exhaust. The gauges in front of you are screaming 200 degrees, and the ship's main power connection has completely fried.
Yeah, it sounds like a bad disaster movie, right? But it was actually the reality aboard the MV Barima months before it tragically sank in July.
Right. And welcome to today's deep dive. We are looking at a breaking report from HGP Nightly News, and they just uncovered these internal records, exposing a whole timeline of critical defects on that vessel.
Yeah, so our mission today is to analyze these handwritten documents. They date from November 2025 to March 2026. We really need to unpack the mechanical and electrical warning signs that preceded the disaster.
Because we need to understand what was known and actually documented before this ship went down.
Exactly. And to get a clear picture of this systemic collapse, I mean, we really need to start with the electrical grid.
Right. So on November 28th, they were docked at the Port Kaituma landing, and the vessel suffered this massive incident.
Yeah, the lights went out completely.
Yeah.
A connecting wire inside the changeover panel just burnt out.
And that's not just like a simple blown fuse, right?
Oh, far from it. The changeover panel is, well, it's the absolute bottleneck for power on a vessel like this. It switches power from the shore current to the ship's internal generators.
So when that connector was destroyed?
It severed their ability to ever draw safe power from the shore. They were suddenly forced to rely entirely on their own internal generators to keep things running.
Wow. Which brings us to the handwritten reports from just 2 days later, on November 30th.
Right.
If they're relying on their generators, well, the documentation shows the #1 generator was actually flagged as completely out of service.
Yeah, because of a broken water pump.
So their fallback power is already crippled. I mean, it's like ignoring multiple red check engine lights on your dashboard all at once.
That is a great way to put it. The strain just cascades rapidly from there. I mean, the shore chief engineer specifically marked these November 30th reports as urgent.
Urgent. Okay, so what else was failing?
Well, alongside the dead generator, the port main engine heat exchanger was overheating. It was hitting temperatures of 197 to 203 degrees Fahrenheit.
Wait, let me play devil's advocate for a second here.
Yeah.
A burnt wire, a broken water pump. Doesn't that just sound like standard wear and tear for a massive ship?
You would think so, yeah.
I mean, mechanics fix these things every day. It's hard to draw a straight line from, a faulty heat exchanger to a sunken ship and 73 recovered bodies.
Well, in isolation, yes, parts break. But you're missing the redundancy aspect. The heat exchanger is essentially the ship's radiator.
Okay.
When it hits 200 degrees, the engine can't cool itself. That warps the metal, and you risk a total stall in open water.
Ah, I see. And you combine that with the fact that the primary backup power of the generator is already dead.
Exactly. And to top it all off, a leaking exhaust on the starboard engine was pumping toxic gas directly into the engine room.
That is terrifying.
Right. You've lost your safety net, and the environment itself is becoming too dangerous for the crew to even attempt fixing the remaining systems.
It's like trying to run a marathon while breathing through a straw and having a 104-degree fever. The systems aren't just damaged independently. They're actively choking each other out.
That's exactly it. The disaster we saw in July wasn't caused by one sudden, unforeseeable break. It was the normalization of deviance.
Right, when a status of urgent becomes your daily operating baseline. The system has already failed before the ship even leaves the dock, hasn't it?
Yeah, the ship's vital organs were failing simultaneously, putting immense strain on whatever components were left functioning.
And the cost of that normalization is just devastating. When the MV Barima finally sank, there were an estimated 179 people on board.
It's horrific.
So far, 73 bodies have been recovered, with 69 positively identified. Those handwritten warnings weren't just about preserving machinery.
No, not at all. They were the final barrier between those passengers and a catastrophic failure.
Right.
Which is why taking an analytical look at this matters to you, the listener, whether you're managing a complex database, working in aviation, or just trying to understand how massive institutions fail.
Because ignoring the root causes of systemic strain doesn't buy you time. It just guarantees a collapse.
Precisely. You have to heed the early warnings.
So as you digest all of this today, ponder this question on your own. When a clear, undeniable paper trail of urgent, life-threatening defects is generated, at what point does delayed maintenance cross the line from bureaucratic inefficiency into inevitable catastrophe?